Hey Goldrush fans, episode 16 is coming this Friday, so let's talk about it. Welcome back everybody to Goldrush Minute. If you're new to the channel or a subscriber, I'm Goldrush Minute, where I break down the most recent episode of Gold Rush and all the spin-offs. We talk about the miners and go over past episodes of the series. So let's start this video off with Fred. So Team Misfits, they're coming off their best cleanup this season, just over 19 ounces of gold. Fred has a pretty positive attitude about the season and he's pretty hopeful, but when do you stop living in fantasy and you start living in reality? So the freedom cut that they're working right now is just not delivering the gold that they're wanting. But, you never know. They could be feet away from a mother lode or a glory hole. This week, the guys will be facing the same issues as before. Their equipment will keep them from mining a full week. Sergeant Sluice has been purring along this entire time, and I still feel that it's due for some downtime. Their excavator will be breaking down again. Honestly, it could be even catching fire this week, so you never know. Now something far worse than any equipment breakdowns. So Fred's had a pretty positive attitude this entire time, but his crew, they're starting to have some major doubts. His stepson Chris even joked about teaming up with the Claytons again. Fred did shut this down pretty quickly, but all joking aside, no crew and Fred is done. So let's talk about the gold now. So this episode for Team Misfits, it's a reason for them to cheer. They're going to surpass last year's gold total of 100 ounces by getting that 20 to 25 ounces of gold. They're not going to hit that target of over 50 ounces of gold, but they will beat last year's total, so honestly, good for them. Next up is the Clayton brothers. So last week they only had a cameo, and once again Fred came crawling and asking Brandon for another favor. In my opinion, Brandon needs to grow some balls and tell him no. Fred did get a great deal on this. He got Brandon's conveyor, but karma stepped in and the engine blew after 15 minutes. So the last time we saw the Clayton brothers mining, they're doing the gauntlet cut, and it was producing some great gold. They got 20 ounces to be exact. So this is with just one man running the show instead of the usual 4. So in theory, they could have easily have mined 30 plus ounces of gold. So the guys need to put the pedal to the metal and make it to golden acres. This has been like watching paint dry for me. They're slowly inching their way there. Let's talk about the gold now. So Team Clayton, they're going to be at that gauntlet cut again this week. They're pulling in more gold from that site than the previous S-Bend cut site. And if this holds true, they'll be able to mine about 25 to about 30 ounces of gold. This could be the beginning of Golden Acres gold, and they might have a pile of gold waiting for them once they actually get to Golden Acres. Hey everybody, just want to take a moment and thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't, it only takes a moment and it's free to do. Next up is Team Parker. So Parker has all cylinders firing. His Yukon operation is producing some of the best gold in Gold Rush history. And his Alaskan site is just the beginning of its journey of 1,000 ounces of gold. So Parker's using Little Red Rocket up in Alaska, and so far so good. A small breakdown last week, and that was it. His crew is coming together, and we all saw them having a beer celebrating their first gold weigh of the season of 14 ounces of gold. And to me, that seems kind of weird, celebrating that little amount of gold. But remember, that's only running 14 hours, and this is a tailings from the old timers. For Parker's Yukon operation, it's basically on cruise control now. They're chewing through the ground, and Lucifer and Big Red, they're catching close to 500 ounces of gold in a week. Parker and their crew, they're due for some downtime from either the ground or the equipment in his Yukon operation. It's been running pretty smoothly for the past few weeks, and they're due for some downtime. So let's talk about the gold now. First, the Yukon operation. So Mitch said a number of times that they're running low on ground, and I feel this will become an issue sooner than later. They won't have that problem yet, but in a couple episodes, they will. Remember, they do have that Panama Canal cut that was frozen earlier this season, and this cut, I feel, is become very important very soon. This week, though, the Yukon operation will mine about 475 to 500 ounces of gold. Now for his Alaskan operation. With last week's run of 14 hours and netting 14 ounces of gold, they should have a full week of running this week. 6 days, 12-hour shifts, and his Alaskan operation will mine between 75 to 100 ounces of gold. For me personally though, I can't wait to see his custom wash plant get up there as soon as possible. Last up is Team Beats. So the Beats family, they're sitting at 2,547 ounces of gold after that massive 450 ounces last week. They have finally passed the halfway point for their lofty goal of 5,000 ounces. Last week was all about setting up that new selling pond for their next area, the 80 pup. So Tony stated, he's looking for a piggy bank with more pay dirt that has the potential of having that white channel pay in there. It's already been stripped, it's ready to go. It's just under 20 feet of water. So last time we saw him, Tony dropped over 700,000 on 2 new belly scrapers. This investment is making this cut possible and ready to mine 5 days after they started versus the weeks it would take before. Let's talk about the gold. So Team Beats, they're going to have another great week of mining. They're going to have some mechanical issues, but nothing too bad that's going to deter them for too long. Like last week's 450 ounces, they'll have another massive cleanup of over 450 ounces, getting them over 3,000 ounces for the season. There you have it, Gold Rush fans. If you like the content and want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. It's free to do, and I greatly appreciate it. Till the next time.